Good morning, everyone. It's me, Jessica, your health fitness program manager from McLean, and I'm looking forward to getting down on the floor with you for today's core and stretch class. You don't need any specific props for today. However, you might want to have a block nearby just to help you feel supported as we start off with the stretches. I'm just going to check and make sure everything is streaming okay. And then we're going to get right into it today. I want to thank you so much for coming and joining me to challenge yourself. Let's get started on the floor, tucking our shirts in like winners with a little bit of child's pose. So I'm just going to finish tucking my shirt in like a winner. Feel free to open your knees as wide as you want. Excuse me. If you are feeling sore, excuse me, or challenged at all this morning, maybe bring a prop with you. Oh, that feels great. You can stretch your hands as far forward as feels good for your body today, or you can take as generous of a bend in your elbows as your body needs. Oh, no. Okay, you stay here in your child's pose. I'm just going to clean up our Uncle Buck threw up on that just now. Uncle Buck. He's like, what are you doing, mother? Core and stretch is not supposed to be until 11. Uncle Buck says, dude, you are legit the grossest. Real life, everybody. Okay, I'm just gonna flip my mat over. Sorry, Uncle Buck. Let's get right back into that child's pose. We barely lost any time, right, little dude? If we're not throwing up on the pillow. On your next inhale, we're gonna pull ourselves forward, coming to some sort of a up dog or cobra, or perhaps you keep your forearms down on the ground for a little bit of Sphinx. And on your next exhale, go ahead, press yourself up into tabletop, walk your hands in a little closer, give yourself a couple of cat-cows. Spread your fingers really wide while you're here. Get that nice stretch between the webbings of your fingers. And Uncle Buck and I would just like to apologize for what happened a minute ago. Sorry, everybody. I'm sorry to you, Uncle Buddy. Yeah. Great. Come into a neutral tabletop. Take a little turn over one shoulder. Inhale yourself back to center. Exhale, turn and look over the opposite shoulder. Inhale back to center. Let's make that stretch a little bit deeper. So extend your right leg back behind you. We'll take a gentle little rocking back and forth. Find some static. So press the ball of your foot into the floor and stretch through your heel. Really push into your hands, palms. Draw your core in. Notice if your belly was starting to hang down towards the floor without that contraction and support. Then inhale that right leg up and over, or whichever leg you extended behind you. Still pushing into your hands, palms. Look over your shoulder and try to see that crossed over leg. You can really emphasize the stretch into your hip. Nice total body stretch. Start to get a little pressure into those hands as well. Bring your head back to center first. Inhale that back leg up. Bring it back in, cat-cow one more time. Let us never underestimate the joy of this cat-cow. And as you're starting to feel a little bit more warmed up today and within this class, hopefully the range of motion, even here in your spine, is starting to increase. Find your neutral tabletop again, really push into your hands, palms, shoulder blades are squeezed towards each other, and that lower belly is drawn in. Extend your opposite leg back. You can take a gentle rock back and forth, and then find that press through your heel and a little push through the ball of the foot. So much engagement already in those legs. Inhale, lift it up, and exhale, cross it over. And then turn and twist your head. Can you see your foot? I can see it on the opposite side. Things are feeling a little tight on this side. And that's just a good time to remind you that both sides of the body are not the same and every day is different. So just appreciating what you can do today. And I know I say that all the time, but it is so true. All right, inhale your head back to center. Lift that leg up. Oops, sorry, ankle back. Bring it back in. One more time with those cat-cows. Take a moment. Let's come off of our wrists. Make a couple circles with your wrists in one direction. Make a couple circles with your wrist in the opposite direction. Go ahead, place the backs of your hands on the mat, fingers stretching towards your knees. You can apply as much pressure here as you want. So maybe you're really drawing that core in and using that core to keep from applying too much pressure. Maybe you're really pushing your hands into the floor. That's the first part of this one. Now as you exhale, start to bring your glutes towards your heels. You might find you need to walk those hands a little bit closer towards your knees. And just inhale, lift up. Find as much pressure into the back of your hands as you want, and exhale, bring heels towards glutes. Let's get 2 more times, and then we'll take our hands off of the floor again and just shake those wrists out. Awesome. So as your glutes come towards your heels, peel those fingers off the floor. Once again, make some circles with your hand. Really think about getting your fingers involved in this as well. So a little wiggle of your fingers like you're super mischievous. And then let's take a moment and really squeeze our hands, make a tight fist, and open those hands. Another big squeeze, maybe your biceps are even contracted, and release just 2 more times. Big squeeze, like, Uncle Buck, I can't believe you did that. And then release, like, oh, I'm not mad, it's okay. And one more time. Awesome. Well, let's actually come onto our glutes. Go ahead, send those legs out in front of you. Take a moment and staff pose. So the best that you can, stacking your shoulders on top of your hips, and you can have your hands by your side. Starting out here with my feet kind of relaxed, not trying to bring too much engagement into my legs, so my toes are gently pointed to the wall in front of me. Inhale, find that lifted leg, starting to pull your core in. I know you might feel this in your back, and that's okay. Start to flex your toes back towards your face. We'll take some relief from the stretch in one more breath, one more big inhale, lift yourself up, and exhale, we're just gonna open those legs out nice and wide and come into a dragonfly. And you can either keep your hands behind you, or if you're looking for a little bit more of a stretch towards those inner thighs, you can walk your hands towards the front. Just find what feels right for you here. Maybe you really want to press your fingers into the floor and keep your chest lifted. Again, you can allow your toes to kind of fall heavy towards the walls away from you, or a little extra engagement in those legs by flexing your toes back towards your face. And if you're still looking for that deeper stretch, a little bit more into the hips, you can always walk your hands a little farther forward too. If your back is feeling good, feel free to take some rounding right here, maybe even really pressing your hands, palms into the floor to stretch into that upper back, or maybe releasing forearms down towards the mat to really emphasize that stretch on the legs and the inner thighs. Wow, this feels so good. Wherever you are, whether you were reaching forward or your hands were behind you, come back to this nice big lift. Let's take a gentle twist towards one of our extended legs. And once again, you can keep your hands close to the center line to be supported and a little easier in this twist, or you can start to walk those hands out more towards the calves. Focus on the relaxed breath and keeping the opposite side glute down on the floor. So you don't want to turn towards your legs so much that you're lifting that other side sit bone. Later, Cobra. Sure, you're not feeling great today. Just a couple more breaths here. And then as you're ready, we're going to walk our hands over to the other side. And remember, both sides are different, so it doesn't have to be as deep or look exactly the same as it did on your first side. You're just finding the stretch that your body needs. What feels good? Do you feel that nice big stretch too from the low back, from the hip, working its way up towards the shoulder? You can emphasize it by drawing the opposite shoulder forward from the leg that you're reaching towards. Get that stretch a little more fully throughout the back. On your next inhale, find a little lift in length, and exhale, turn yourself back towards the center. Let's fold our legs in for a moment. Just come back to our breath, to the grounding of the sit bones. Hopefully it's already feeling a little bit easier to just have that chest lifted, squeezing those shoulder blades towards each other. We'll finish out this minute of breathing, and then we're going to get right into our ab portion. We got a lot of awesome moves coming your way. Things are going to be a little fast paced today. But remember, this is your workout and you're doing your best. So if you need to revert back to a previous move that we did or find something else for the 30-second move, or maybe you need to take a break, that's totally fine. I want you to stick with as much as you can do and just be so proud of yourself for coming and trying. We've got each move for 30 seconds of work, and then you get 10 seconds of rest as I explain to you what the next move's going to be. A lot of our moves are sort of going to flow from one to the other. So you can put your feet down on the floor, take a moment and take a break, or you can join me in challenging yourself, maybe keeping your legs up, maybe staying in a boat pose or some sort of motion, just to continue to really challenge upper and lower abs. All right, so I'm going to turn sideways. I'm going to grab my little cheat sheet because I need it. And the first move that we're going to do are freedom twists, which is my new fun name for Russian twists. So easier version of the Russian twist. You're going to have your feet down on the floor. I want you to really focus on getting a big rotation through those shoulders. We warmed them up a little bit. We warmed up the shoulders and the sides of the body, so it should feel a little comfortable, cozy to find this rotation. You can keep your feet on the floor, or you can lift yourself up in boat pose, or maybe you just lift one leg at a time. Let's get that started in 3, 2, 1, begin. So I've got my hands close towards each other. I'm leading a bit with the elbows, but I'm really making sure to get that rotation in the shoulders. And you can move at whatever speed is best for you. I'm keeping this one at a little bit of a faster pace. And remember, you can always bring one foot down towards the floor and then alternate with the other foot down towards the floor if you're working towards lifting both of these legs up to be parallel to the floor, because you gotta work your way there. And that's okay, as long of a spine as you can. Great, now we got some 11 curls. You can have your hands on the mat behind you, or hands by your side, curl up and down. Join me in this one. So the harder version is just rolling down one vertebrae at a time. And slightly easier is having your hands down on the mat
and drawing these knees in towards your chest. Maybe your feet are even down and you're just working on bending your elbows and lifting yourself back up. All of these are so great option for strength moves. And the slower that you go with some of these, the more you're really gonna work that core. Woo, awesome. Excuse me, Uncle Buck. Next, we're gonna lay down on the back as low as you can get that feet. Oops. We got a nice flutter kick. So you can have your thumbs under your bum. Join me, flutter those feet. Low back is pressing down on the mat. If you really feel that low back lifting, you're just gonna flutter a little bit higher at the spot that works for you. Point those toes. You can lift your head up off the floor for a little bit more of a challenge. Oh, excuse me, Uncle Buck. Okay, the next move that we've got is going to be a big scissor. So alternating those legs dropping down, begin. You can keep one up towards the sky the whole time. And if you need to take a bend in your knees for this one as well, you can bend your knees, or you can also work to alternate passing those legs, one and then the other, for a nice continuous motion, and picking your head up off of the floor, head and shoulders lifted. It's going to challenge those upper abs a little bit more. Woo. Next up, you can still have your thumbs close towards your glutes. Legs are going to go out, draw them in, straighten up, bend, and kick out. Join me. So we're working towards the idea of a reverse curl here. If you want to add in that reverse curl, you can, or just stick with pressing out, pulling in, and then lengthening up towards the ceiling. Make sure you're still breathing. Ooh, quick 10-second break. Our next move is going to be leg lifts. So just going up and down, both legs together. Awesome. And just like before, if you need to take a bend in your knees, oh, thank you, Uncle Buck. You can always do these leg lifts with a bend in your knees, or bringing those thumbs under the bum is going to help to make it a little bit easier to keep that lower back planted and really start to comfortably work into the core. And the further your arms are from the center line of your body, the more challenging all these moves will be. Next up, we've got toe taps, so send those legs up towards the ceiling. And just reach up, tap your toes, and lower yourself down. Again, if you need to bend your knees, you can still do this from a tabletop position. The more those knees are in towards the chest, the easier a tabletop position is. The further that the knees are from the center line of the body, the harder. So try and just, if you can, extend those legs up towards the ceiling, really working with the knees stacked on top of the hips. We got one more toe tap after this. Take a break, but this time we're going to reach towards the outside and drop the opposite leg down for a little bit of scissors action. You ready? Begin. So reach on up, opposite leg scissor. Again, you can bend your knees if you need to. You can pet your super needy dog if you need to. Maybe you're just going for the scissors because you're tending to your little person, furry or human. Oh my gosh. We get to relax our feet on the floor for the next move. Coming down towards the end, we've only got one more crunch to go. So bring the soles of the feet together. A nice butterfly crunch. You can either reach your fingers forward or knuckles by your head. Go ahead and find this little bit of a crunch. If this feels too easy for you, you can think about lifting those feet up off of the floor, maybe even tapping elbows towards the knees. Which one are you doing, Uncle Buck? Oh, you're just doing the blocking the view one? That's great. If you could block the view even more, and it would take a long break. but it's okay. We're here to get this work in and done. All right, next up, we've got a plank. So we're doing a little plank rotation. Oh, there's the timer. I'm just gonna stay on my knees, get a nice little tabletop rotation, and then hand down on the floor. If you want, you can extend one or even both legs out. If you extend that opposite leg out, woo, of the hand you have down on the floor, it's gonna challenge your balance a little bit more. Just find what feels good. Oh. Sticking with just one side. Take that quick break, maybe a cat-cow in between, and then we'll just find a quick rotation on the other side. Ready? Begin. So that nice rotation, maybe you have a leg extended, same side as the hand that's planted on the floor, makes it easy. Opposite side, the side that you're rotating in, is going to make you use your core and challenge your balance a little bit more. Good news, bad news. So we got one last move, and we're going to lower ourselves down next for a forearm plank. I tell you one positive. Let's make our way down for that forearm plank. Get ready to send those legs out behind you. Go for it. Legs extended. Last 30 seconds of work. Keep your elbows right underneath of your shoulders. Maybe tap your knees down and lift your knees up. Tap an alternate knee down. Just distracting our mind a little. Really working that core. Let's challenge ourselves through the last 10 seconds of beep also to just hold this solid plank. You're so worth it. The last ab challenge we're gonna do together in this class. Great, release your knees down towards the floor. You can open up really wide, walk your hands forward. Let's come into the child's pose. One last time, stretch that lower back. Can you walk your hands a little more forward than you could when we got started? Focus big time on your exhale. Make that exhale as long as slow as possible, hopefully even a little longer than your inhale. And then let's pull ourselves forward. I'm going to keep my forearms on the mat this time, coming into a Sphinx instead of that up dog we enjoyed before. Really press those elbows into the floor, press your pelvis down towards the mat. Look up towards the ceiling. Emphasize your stretch in the lower back, and then exhale, tuck your chin towards your chest. Emphasize the stretch in the upper back, neck, and shoulders. Inhale, look up towards the ceiling. Exhale, look down towards your belly button. One more time in each direction. And then I'll come back to that neutral. So chin parallel to the floor. Go ahead and look over one shoulder. Still pressing the pelvis down towards the mat and the belly button. Turn back towards center. Look over the opposite shoulder. Good. Make a nice little pillow with your hands. Place your forehead on the pillow. Go ahead, bend your knees and just windshield wipe your legs in opposite directions. Really release any tension that might have built up on your low back. It feels so good. Awesome. Go ahead, bring your feet back down towards the floor. Bring your hands back in line with your chest. Tuck your toes under. We're going to press ourselves up into a plank one more time. This time into a straight arm plank. Join me here for 5, 4, 3, 2. Send your glutes up towards the ceiling. Take a little down dog. Pedal through those heels. Maybe you pedal through one at a time. I really like to press all the way up onto the balls of both feet and then work to drop those heels towards the floor. really push into your hands, palms, biceps as in line with ears as possible. Lower belly is approaching those thighs. Great. Keep your left foot down on the floor. Inhale that right leg up towards the ceiling. Shift your shoulders on top of your hips. Bring that right leg forward. And then release that left knee down towards the mat. You can walk your hands in. Starting off with my hands in line with the heel. Kind of giving myself a little cat-cow. Personally, I'm liking the stretch in the lower back. I'm still getting that great stretch into the quad of my front leg. I'm gonna lift up, press the back knee down into the floor. Feel a little bit more of a stretch into that hip and quad, especially if you're pressing those back toes towards the mat. Let's shimmy this front foot forward about 1 foot and shift the weight forward a little bit more, and you feel it even more in that back leg. Uncle Buck. Awesome. Turn it into a hamstring stretch. So start to straighten that front leg. Bring your glutes back towards your heel. You can stay lifted here. You can flex your toes back towards your face. If you're not feeling it in that hamstring, start to come a little bit lower towards the mat. Maybe even knee comes towards the nose, or nose comes towards the knee is probably a better way to think about it. From here, we're gonna walk it forward one more time into this big hip opener. Plant your hands down on the floor. Tuck your back toe under, lift that leg up, send your right leg back up into three-legged dog, and exhale, release that right foot to the floor. Paddle through those heels. Ooh. Let's do the same thing on the opposite side. So right foot stays planted. Inhale, left leg up towards the ceiling. Shift the weight forward. Bring your left leg forward. Plant the sole of the foot on the floor and release that back knee down. I'm walking my hand palm in line with my left heel, keeping things pretty tight, pretty 90-90 here to begin with. And you can stay down on the floor or you can lift yourself up. Whew. Changing the stretch just a little bit by pressing that back knee down into the floor, a little squeeze of your glute as well. We're gonna walk our front foot forward 1 foot. So just shimmy, 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 1 foot forward. And then shift the weight forward gently. And you can stay lifted, or you can always release yourself back down to the floor. Find what feels appropriate for your body, for this side of your body today. Go buckles, you're not feeling good. Thank you for stepping away from the camera this time. Let's send the glutes back towards the heels. For your version of a hamstring stretch, you can flex your toe back towards your face. And remember, you can lift yourself up here if you want as well, because you can, I promise, you'll still feel it in the hamstring. All right, shift the weight forward one more time. Release your hands down towards the mat. Tuck your back toe under, lift that knee up off the floor. Send your left leg up towards the ceiling one more time in three-legged dog. And then exhale, left foot down on the floor. Walk your hands to your feet or your feet to your hands. We'll take one more hamstring stretch in this dangle. Take as generous of a bend in your knees as you want. And we did some shaking our head. Oops, yes already. So let's take a moment and just shake our heads. No. Really relax the crown of your head towards the mat as much as you can. See if you can even create a little bit of space of shoulders pulling away from your ears. Maybe that means that you bring your hands to your shins or to the floor to help you to engage that upper back a little bit, and then use that exhale to release your head towards the mat one more time. Take a generous bend of your knees, shift the weight into your heels. Take that good rounding of your back as you slowly roll yourself up, one vertebrae at a time. When you get to the top, shoulders stack on top of hips. Take a moment, stretch your fingers down towards the floor. Enjoy a little mountain pose. Really equally press the weight through your heels, squeeze the glutes. Hips and pelvis press forward, shoulder blades squeeze towards each other. Bring a smile to your face and be so proud of yourself for all of the engaging movement that we did today. Then turn your hands, palms forward. Inhale those arms up overhead. Exhale, relax your arms down by your side. Let's do that 2 more times. Feel free to take that generous bend of your knees. Inhale those arms up, palm facing forward. Exhale, relax your arms down. 1 more time. Palms face forward. Inhale, arms up. Stretch up, palms face each other. Look up towards the ceiling. Really ground through your feet. Find that stretch on your lower belly. Those abs you activated so well before. And then chin neutral to your chest. Enjoy that stretch as you bring your arms back down to your side. Let's take a quick little interlace of those fingers behind our back. Stretch those knuckles down towards the floor. One last little chest opener. It was hard to interlace your fingers behind your back. Maybe you just bring the backs of your fingers towards the glutes and just work to squeeze your elbows towards each other. And then stretch your fingers down towards the floor and decompress through your shoulders. Weight through your heels. One more time in mountain pose. Think about why you're so amazing. What is one thing that you can look forward to or feel proud of yourself for today? And I just want you to take the next 3 breaths and think about that awesome thing. Great. Ooh, feel free to shake those shoulders out. Amazing work today, everyone. I know that the ab circuit was a little challenging. Thank you for bearing with me with Uncle Buck, who I'm gonna go check on. If you have any questions or concerns about anything that I said or we did today, I know that you'll reach out. I hope if you're on campus that you'll stop by for the Earth Day tabling event, both in McLean and Bedford, and that you have a wonderful rest of your day.